We're recording.
Yay.
On literally everything. Audio's rolling. I'm going to fucking check it today.
Do you want me to check mine too?
You should. I think I cranked them.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Great.
I see the levels moving.
Perfect.
Gordy is not going to jinx us today. Annabelle is not going to jinx us today.
No one is jinxing us
No
today.
one's jinxing us today.
They're giving us good, calming energy.
I'm going to be honest. I kept Annabelle in my car last night because I was like, I can't bring her into my house.
You couldn't even bring her in the house?
No. And then I was sitting here at the studio getting ready with her and like, I don't know, dude. It's in my head. I'm like, she's scary.
She's scary, but you can at least sleep knowing that she is the replica. She's a replica of a replica. Okay. Right? Because the original Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah. Which is so crazy because she's so sweet.
But like this Annabelle is based on the movie version, which is completely invented for the films. So she's not even really in the same. She just her face looks really upsetting, but like I don't think there's anything she's bad about her.
Yeah, no, she's a good girl and she's gonna help us get some good energy on set today.
Yes.
For all these spooky stories.
Yes, our favorite.
Happy
spooky season.
Ooh, I'm in my spooky era. A listener gave this to me at a live show.
Really? Wait, what does it say?
It says in my spooky era.
Oh, that's great.
As a Swiftie and spooky girl.
Oh my gosh, that's so kind of a listener to give that to you.
I get the best presents.
Really thoughtful, yeah.
The blanket, someone like crocheted me.
Oh yeah, someone made you a blanket
in Denver, which I saw you message me, but I can't find it. I need you to message me again so I can message you about the blanket because you have people out there asking where the blanket is from and they want to buy your pattern.
Ooh, that's great.
I know. So I'm like, girl, we gotta get your Etsy going.
I had a listener, Sandra, send me a Labubu.
I know. I'm like,
which was way too kind.
Which
that was
Too Hot
so
Taken
nice.
has the Labubu connects?
I know.
My foot fell off mine, so I had to like sew his pants shut.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've seen the sewn pants.
Yeah. He's on my tote over somewhere.
Yeah, I was ready to do the whole like getting on the lives on TikTok, trying to figure out which one. Like,
is that how you get them?
Yeah, because you can't just buy them on the website. It's a whole thing because they sell out so fast.
Oh no, I know that. I went to Pop Mart naively thinking I was going to get one and she laughed at me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Like, oh, one Labubu, ma'am. And they're like, that's not how it works around here.
No. They're like, good luck.
Yeah.
But hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Too Hot Takes. I'm your host, Morgan. And today I'm joined by Kaelyn Moore of Heart Starts Pounding.
Hello.
Woo!
I'm very excited to be here. And you're also joined by my son, Gordy.
And Annabelle. I actually love that we have Annabelle here today, despite me being scared of her, because we really bonded over the fact that you worked on The Nun.
Yeah, well, that's kind of our invisible string.
That's our invisible string theory.
Because I worked on the first Nun, and then that was like your first date with Justin, right?
It was like the first real date. Like Justin, when he first met me on Hinge, had kind of like played the friend card. And so our first date, I thought we were just like meeting at a bar in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
The second one, I went over to watch a Vikings football game. And the third one, we went to The Nun. And he put his hand on my leg and I was like, he does not want to be friends. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Did you get vibes right away from him that you were like, this is my husband?
No. Honestly, he knew from the first date.
Wow.
He like saw me walk in and after the date, he like got in the car with his friend and was like, get the wedding invites ready.
Oh my gosh.
It took me a little longer.
Yeah.
A little longer. But
that's so sweet. A horror movie is a good, maybe not first date, but like in the first batch of dates. I feel like a horror movie is good because you have to like hold each other's hands and you get scared.
I know.
Especially that first
sets the tone to like get like cuddly.
Yeah.
You worked on a few of the movies though. You worked on The Conjuring.
On Conjuring 3 briefly. I worked on Annabelle 2 and 3, Nun 1, a little bit of Nun 2. I worked on La Llorona, which is technically in the Conjuring world. I just worked for the company that made all of those movies.
It's insane.
So I got to go see, I don't work there anymore, but I got to go see Conjuring 4 with them. And I brought Gordy because I was like making the joke, like, if you guys are looking for another doll to make another movie about, like I have one.
You're going to manifest this for him.
I think he could be a movie star. Absolutely.
Look at him.
He's just so spooky. Well, I was telling you I got him at this place in Austin called Uncommon Objects. It's an oddity store. It's great if anyone's been. And I have a set that I film on. So I put him in the back of the set. I was like, this is perfect. And at night, it would sound like my dog had gotten upstairs and was running around on the second floor of the house. And we would run up to get the dog out and realize like, oh, dog is asleep. Like Fitz is asleep in our bedroom, but Gordy's up there. So whatever is inside of him is like pretty rowdy.
Did you start putting him in a box, like just to be sure? Were you still like, I don't want to mess with Gordy that much? Like he'll be okay.
No, I just kind of close him in the set. Like, yeah, I would just leave him in the room and he'd be fine. But I would hear those noises upstairs.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Gordy.
He'll behave today, though.
Okay.
He'll be fine.
Okay, we're going to have to get some holy water otherwise. But did he get blessed at the Conjuring premiere?
So they were giving out holy water at the premiere, which was
what?
Really, it was fun that they did that. But he did not actually get blessed. So we'll see how
you
it
almost
goes.
don't want to mess with his juju, though, probably.
I know. I don't want to tip the scale too much and then have something get really mad at me.
Especially if he's going to get his own movie.
I know.
The little demon inside is probably hearing this being like, give me my movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
that's exactly it.
Everyone at home is like probably terrified. Don't watch this episode if it's late at night and you're alone.
Watch it alone. Watch it late at night.
Nope. I will tell you this right now. I was looking for these stories until 4 a.m. and I scared myself so much. I literally slept with the light on.
Oh my gosh.
I literally slept with a nightlight on. I was like, I can't. And you'll see some pictures. I've got photographic evidence today. I'm just like.
Well, we talked about, I mean, you are living in a haunted house. So it makes sense that you're also just kind of freaking yourself out too.
I know. And she's supposed to be nice. Like, this is a famous Hollywood actress. She passed in my home. But like, I don't know what's going on. Like, our cameras keep finding someone. And like, it'll say someone spotted. And it'll track an invisible figure down the hall and then stop.
That's like that's paranormal activity, just like the movies. Very scary.
I know. I'm going to be sleeping with the light on again
I would freak
tonight.
out with that.
I'm going to be sleeping with the light on again. Without further ado, y'all, let's dive in. Okay, up first. This is coming from one of our listeners.
Ooh.
Which, if you guys are hearing this is our first spooky episode of the month. There will be a Google form in the description. Go and tell me your stories, okay? Especially if there's pictures. Let me know. But this first one. When I heard that you were looking for spooky stories to read on the podcast, I had to become a patron so you would see my story. It's a bit of a doozy, and in my opinion, what you might find in the movies, minus the dramatic ending. I have to preface this as it's not my story that has much of a conflict, and unfortunately, I can't do anything about what happened or what we found. But I would love to know your thoughts. On to the story. This all happened when I was 22, and my two best friends, Anne, 22, and Margaret, 21, were all staying at Margaret's grandmother's house to watch her dog and house sit while she was out. This was all around the beginning of fall. As typical young adults, we love to have a good time with alcoholic drinks, some good snacks, a few of our favorite movies, and, of course, witchcraft. We were all itching to stay overnight here alone since Margaret's grandfather, John, died in the exact chair that resided in the living room a few years back. Margaret has had a hunch that her grandfather hasn't passed on, since she felt his presence frequently there, especially when you sit in that chair. A little backstory. Back in those days, the three of us would participate in practicing Wicca, having several Ouija sessions, and collecting crystals for their various properties. We even went as far as recording our Ouija sessions and evaluating them afterwards. We always made all the spiritual precautions to protect us from the negative spirits and burned our boards after every session. Yes, we made our own boards out of pen and paper. Don't ever get the fancy store-bought ones since they are hard to dispose of if you plan to use it to communicate with spirits. Disclaimer, I would never recommend practicing in any Ouija sessions if you don't know the basics in protective spells and precautionary actions before and after asking them questions. They are no joke, and you could potentially cause yourself or possibly close by harm. Morgan, you are right to not fuck with them. I literally got the chills. I tell everyone, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, back to the story. Once the witching hour struck and the night was quiet, we started our Ouija session. Albeit a bit tipsy, but still with our wits about us. Sitting by the very chair where Margaret's grandfather had passed, we asked to speak with him. At first, nothing really happened, and we encouraged John to use the energy sources we put out around us, mostly water and crystals. Eventually, the planchette moved to the yes position after about the 4th or 5th time we asked, "Are you with us?" Exhilarated, we asked the following questions. What is your name? How old were you when you died? What is your birthday? Where did you graduate college? Who was your wife? And more. It's important to ask number-based questions and ask specifics that yield short but accurate answers. There are common red flags if you're dealing with a negative spirit or demon, where the answers would be scattered and nonsensical, where the vibe would be off and they say 0 for their age. These are all signs to terminate immediately. We did not get this feeling, as the spirit we were speaking to answered with intelligence and poise, and Margaret stated it was the same feeling she got when she sensed him before. Prior to starting our session, we had gone around the house to do some research on her grandfather John. We knew the answers to our questions exactly, and when asked, the spirit spelled them out nearly verbatim. We asked John's spirit more about his life, and as he answered, it was as though he was sitting beside us, having a normal conversation through a series of letters and numbers as I recorded them in our book of shadows. I no longer have possession of this, otherwise I would provide pictures. Margaret had needed to tell her grandfather something very personal, and once she did, it brought us all to tears, as John's spirit spelled out her nickname that only he called her when she was a child, followed by, "I love you, VM." Once we got to the point where we had to say goodbye, we asked one final question. Quote, "Is there anything you need to help you pass on?" He answered with, "Bedroom, envelope, and sorry." We promised we would look into it and do what we could as we slid the planchette over to goodbye, releasing our link to John's spirit. Immediately, we went into the grandmother's bedroom and tried to find something that John would feel the need to apologize for. Trying not to invade her privacy too much while putting everything back in its place, we mostly found typical things that would be in an old woman's bedroom drawers. Except one thing. Found in the side where John used to sleep, at the very bottom of the lowermost drawer, was an old, unsealed envelope with John's name on the back. As we opened it, we found a printed photo of a woman in lingerie smirking at the camera with "Miss You, heart," written in pen on the back of it with nothing else.
Oh my God.
Margaret, looking at the photo, said, quote, "That's not my grandmother." Putting 2 and 2 together, John must have cheated on the grandmother, and now John's spirit cannot pass on without her forgiveness. Allegedly. Margaret was torn on this news and pleaded that she cannot tell her grandmother of this, that it's too personal, and she feared she would be meddling into a relationship that she had no place in, not to mention rummaging through her private possessions. But Anne and I didn't feel that it was right to break the promise to John's spirit and potentially never allow him to pass on. Unfortunately, this is where my story ends.
Oh my gosh.
Margaret never told her grandmother about the session at all, and several years later, the grandmother passed away peacefully in her sleep at a retirement home at the age of 88. So fam, what would you have done in this situation? Was Margaret right?
Oh my God, because this is also kind of like a "am I the asshole?" Like
literally, I have the full-blown goosebump chills.
Whoa. I was not expecting that at all.
To get that, and like our writer does provide like additional info. I just want to say that this occurrence is a rarity. The spirit has to have strong ties to the people, location, item, and have the ability and strength to use the energy around itself to physically move the planchette to the degree that John's spirit did. In most cases, you would get 1 or 2 letters or numbers per questions. Then eventually the spirit would deplete itself over time if it were a true human spirit. In my experience, most sessions last about 15 to 30 minutes. And then they say, John's answers and participation was detailed, intelligent, and our conversation went on for about an hour and a half. I cannot stress enough how uncommon this is. And please, those at home, do not attempt to use a Ouija board without someone experienced in spiritual ways.
So are they suggesting that because it went on for so long, it was maybe not John? It was maybe not human?
You know, they don't say that. Like, it almost implies it with that to be like, it went on for an hour and a half. But I think
there was so much energy from him.
Yeah, and I think like they're in the house. They're right next to his chair where he passed.
Yeah.
And clearly like Margaret has like felt this spirit from him before.
Whoa. There's part of me that's like, right, because he cheated on his wife. That's horrible. Who knows how long it went on for. Like I could see someone arguing, I don't want to hurt my grandma with the time she has left by burdening her with this when this was his mistake. I'm sorry you can't move on without getting her forgiveness, but you're putting her in a really tough spot being like, the only way I can move on in the afterlife is if you have to forgive me for this now. Like I couldn't tell you when I was alive because you wouldn't have forgiven me.
I know.
But now you have to forgive me. And so I don't know. Yeah, what do you think? Would you want to know after...
No.
If in just like the few years you have left and he's passed away, you know, oh gosh.
No, I mean, she died at 88 a couple years later. So she was like, what, probably like 80 through 84?
Yeah.
86? I mean, no. Like, what if you then were the reason your grandmother died, like from a broken heart? It happened.
I know.
So I don't know. It is like interesting because you had this connection with the spirit, but like, you also don't necessarily know if it was him.
Ding, 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 ding. I was going to say that.
It could be.
I was going to say that. I heard a story
something more dark
once of this girl who would play with this Ouija board in her house. And her mom didn't know she was playing with this Ouija board, but she always felt like she was talking to her grandma. And so it was like this really special way. And then one day, the Ouija board was acting really bizarre. But it was like kind of like, I think I'm talking to my grandma, but maybe she's not coming through today. So she asked the board again, like, who am I talking to? And it spells out Zozo.
Oh,
which if you're playing with a Ouija board, Zozo is not something you want to hear.
What is Zozo?
Zozo's a demon. Zozo is not here to help you. And so after that, it's like, well, the Ouija board, like I thought I was talking to grandma. I was actually probably talking to this demon the entire time. And now I've let all of that energy in. And
oh my God.
And it's like a trickster spirit. It's telling you things. So who knows if that even was John or if it was someone else being like, I'm going to just ruin your family members' lives for the rest of the time that they're alive.
I know. Well, and it's like that picture was in there, but like we don't really know how it got in there. You know, who knows? Maybe John had a bit of a stalker in younger years, but why would he keep the picture? I don't know.
I think I know why he had the photo.
I mean sexy gal in lingerie.
And lingerie, it says miss you on the end. Or on the other side. That is a wild one. It kind of reminds me of the last episode we did, which was all deathbed confessions.
Oh, it is like an odd deathbed confession, like but from the grave.
Confession. Oof. Yeah, I wonder if that was his unfinished business, and that's the only thing keeping him. And now she's passed away, so he's stuck forever.
I know. I wonder if now that she's passed, if he would be free, because they're both maybe on that plane.
Yeah,
unless she went up and he's stuck in the middle.
If they ever try to contact him after that, and if they can still get him to come through on the board.
I'd be so
I would
curious.
Personally stop messing with it after that moment. I don't know, but maybe if they've tried to contact him again and he's still coming through.
I know. Well,
maybe he's stuck.
You know, I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh my God, the session was so long. But hey, you're the expert. But he also did know the granddaughter's like name that only he called her. So I'm going to be hopeful that it was actually John. Then again, it's sad that he's stuck.
Yeah. What would you have done?
I would have left the pictures out.
Yeah.
Didn't have to come for me. Don't kill the messenger. But
I think, you know.
She probably also like, maybe she did know and she just never confronted him.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. If that photo is still in the bedside table, it's opened.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away a long time ago. Maybe she's already kind of been through that.
I could see it.
And has seen the photo and is like, whatever.
What am I going to do now?
What am I going to do now?
Can't kill him twice.
Maybe she knew when he was alive. I feel like a lot of people, like the partner's like, this is the best kept secret. They never knew I did this. And the wife is like, I knew the entire time. I just, like, it wasn't worth it because of the time period to like bring something up. But yeah, so maybe she did know. That's kind of, I guess, my hope is that she had made peace with it a long time before.
I could see that. I know like my grandma, like I feel like that's kind of the same generation. She put up with a lot of stuff that she knew about, but just like
my grandma too.
Didn't want to confront or like, it's not worth it and this and that. And I don't know. So
my grandma has probably 200 letters that she kept that she and my grandfather sent to each other during World War II. And when she came to the end of her life, she was like, don't ever read those. And then she died. And so we have 200 letters. And my family—
Have you read them?
Toil over them. We haven't read them yet.
Oh.
And everyone has a different opinion on like, she's been dead for 15 years. We could read the letters now. And then other people that are like, it doesn't expire. If that's your dying wish, it doesn't expire.
Wait, why do you guys keep them then instead of disposing?
Because it feels weird to throw away letters from World War II of this like young married couple. There's something to preserving them. Also, it's her handwriting and just knowing that the letters were between my grandparents. I think that's really sentimental.
Yeah.
I'm curious what people in the comments are going to say about this or like anyone watching. I'm a little bit team read them.
I think you should read them.
It's history. I love my grandparents so much. And I know that they were very flawed people. So I'm okay with like learning things about them.
Whatever you learn wouldn't totally ruin your image of them.
Yes. If it were my parents, I would probably leave it because I'm too close to them. But if grandparents, you have a little bit of distance, you can kind of look at them as like historical artifact a little bit more.
Yeah.
Hopefully they keep them long enough that my kids can read them and then tell me what was in them.
I think
because at that point there's enough distance.
You're the type of person though, you're a responsible historian type. So I feel like you should be the one that safe keeps the letters.
I know, because I also want to make sure that they're not deteriorating. If there's ones that we want to frame and save, like, you know, they're still in good enough shape that we can do that.
I'm sure there's a love letter or two.
Yes. I think they're all love letters.
Okay.
For the most part.
No bad news.
I don't think it would be any bad news, but
honestly, this could be a movie too.
Crazy.
Grandma would just be like, oh, no. But yeah, no, I think you need to read them.
Yeah.
My great grandma passed and she had a bunch of diaries. And my whole family has passed them around like a monthly book club.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything crazy?
I think they learned a lot about her psyche and just like how strong of a woman she was. Like her husband was a philandering alcoholic.
Wow.
And she really kept the family and the farm together. I mean, she had 6 kids and like just like was the glue and was a nurse and just like a saint of a woman. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like the pastor at her funeral was like, if anyone's going to heaven, it's going to be this lady.
Yeah.
So she was really, really strong. And so they just got to see more of like what she actually put up with that no one knew.
I love that.
So they learned a lot. So I'm team read them.
Yeah, same.
But let us know, guys. I think you could have some hot takes on that one. If you liked this listener write-in, though, I will say I did steal this from our Father Knows Something vault because we do spooky episodes over there. So there's going to be a Father Knows episode this year that's spooky too, but there's a couple from the previous years and they're insane, which maybe I'll stick on the listener write-in trend while I'm on it.
Yeah.
This next one. In 2021, after a 2.5-year battle with a rare and extremely fatal brain tumor, one of my younger brothers, Brandon, male 15, passed away the day after Christmas. At the time, I, female 23, was a first-year veterinary student at the University of Minnesota. Go Gophers. So while I normally would not have been home, as I am an out-of-state student, I was back for the holidays. Brandon suffered a brain herniation and was suspected to be brain dead due to the massive amounts of damage that it caused. However, he could not be declared passed until certain tests were done. As a result, he had to remain on life support for 3 days while the doctors conducted these tests. My parents did not leave Brandon's side for 1 second during this time. Because my house had essentially become a hospital due to the around-the-clock care Brandon required, me and my remaining brothers, male 24 and male 12, had to help load trucks and trucks just full of medical equipment to either toss, donate, or return to the insurance provider. One of these nights, I went into Brandon's room to look for any machines we might have missed. Before I even touched the machine, or anything for that matter, the TV turned on. I froze. Blaring from the TV was a Dolphins game, and surprisingly, they were winning. To give some context, the Dolphins are my eldest brother's favorite team, with Brandon being a fan of the Cowboys. With every hair standing up on my body, I immediately look at the nearest outlet and hastily unplug every cord I see, convincing myself I must have turned something on by mistake somehow. Despite desperately trying to rationalize myself through it, I knew what was happening. It was a sign from him. I ran to my eldest brother sobbing and told him, quote, "I think that was meant for you." Months later, still learning how to grapple with my grief, I made an appointment with a medium. Ever the skeptic, I made a fake email address, gave a fake name, a fake birth date, and a fake place of residency. As this was over Zoom, I made sure I was in a room where he could not possibly pick up on anything. While we were talking, he immediately asked if I had 2 siblings. I tentatively answered yes. He then asked why he saw another younger, specifically male energy around me, and then followed that up with, quote, "Did you have another brother that passed away?" I couldn't believe it. I immediately broke down and told him yes. He told me things about Brandon and my life during that session that he could have never known. However, probably the craziest one of all is when he told me he would try to allow Brandon to speak through him. He warned me that it might be only 1 or 2 words, if that, and there would be no promises. Immediately, the medium told me, quote, "I'm only getting 1 word, dolphins. Does that mean anything to you?" P.S. The day that Brandon passed away, his favorite player of all time, Dak Prescott, had the absolute game of his life. He followed Brandon on Instagram through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they would talk here and there. When my eldest brother messaged him to tell him that Brandon had passed away, he immediately said that it was no coincidence how he played that night. I couldn't care less about American football, but I root for Dak Prescott every single time.
Woof.
I'm in my feels
I
this
know.
week.
Holy smokes. Yeah, I believe that so wholeheartedly. Sending signs, especially from siblings. I had a story. We do listener tales pretty frequently, like once a quarter probably on Heart Starts Pounding. Same thing. All stories from listeners, and I am shocked at how emotional some of them can be. But this one girl reached out to me and she goes, "So something crazy happened. My sister and I were always really close, but she passed away when I was like 15 years old. And before she had passed away, she made a joke that like, if I ever die, I'm going to come back as a black cat." And so, of course, like the listener just always remembered that. And like fast forward maybe 10 years, her grandma is dying. And her grandma, similar situation, like not responsive, but is just laying in a bed in the family home, and they're just kind of waiting for her life to end. And so she, like, the listener goes out to get some air, opens the door, and all of a sudden this black cat runs in to the house.
Oh my gosh.
Jumps on the bed and sits there. And no one had ever seen this cat before. It was like not a cat from the neighborhood. It was not their cat. And it just sits on the bed. And she was like, what's crazy is one of the last things I ever said to my grandmother was, "Are you afraid to die?" And she goes, "No, because I'm going to see your sister." And then the cat runs out. They never see the cat ever again. And the grandma died like 3 days later.
What?
And it was just, I still get like in my feels when I talk about that one because
like coming to guide her and just make sure she was okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I saw the craziest TikTok, and I honestly haven't cried so hard watching a TikTok in quite some time. And this girl was doing a gender reveal for her baby, and she said like something on like the video where she was like, "My sister passed a couple of years ago and she keeps visiting us in the form of an eagle." And in the video you see like the little like smoke cannon thing go off, and it hits blue, and then you look to like the right in the video and there's a woman like standing on the top of the hill like overlooking a lake, and all of a sudden you see this eagle just swoop down near this woman, and
wow,
it was her mom. And they just keep thinking like this is their sister coming back as an eagle. And then what really set me off, the comments. It's always the comments on videos like that. And someone comments, and it was because in the video she goes, "Denali, Denali," and was like screaming Denali at the eagle, being like, "Denali, is that you?" Talking to the eagle. Ugh. And in the top like comments, someone was like, "Wait, your sister's name was Denali? The Brother Bear movie? The brother comes back as an eagle and his name was Denali." I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
Why are you doing this to me, TikTok? I don't need this today.
Whoa. I mean, I'm sure you're going to get comments of people getting signs from people because it's just so common.
I'm so glad like that people can get these signs and just like feel that like sense of peace and closure.
Yeah.
And like, I know visitation dreams are huge for people.
Visitation dreams are huge. And I'm a firm believer that the signs don't have to happen immediately. I'll have some listeners reach out and be like, hey, I heard your episode where you were talking about signs people sent from beyond the grave. Like, my mom passed away. I've never gotten a sign from her. Do you think that means anything? And I'm of the belief that at some point you will.
Mm-hmm.
When people die, they have a long list of people they have to get through, of signs they have to go send. Like, I promise you're on the list. Like, it just might take some time to get to you, but I feel like more times than not, even if it's years and years later, people get something.
Or they're just there, but they haven't needed to break through to give you a sign yet.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't had a day that's been so dark, or you haven't been in a situation where you've needed that guardian angel yet.
Yes.
Which, like, that's kind of another thing. Like, it could be coming,
Mm-hmm.
but also, like, you don't want to need a guardian angel sign. Like, I remember a story we've done on a previous THT episode where someone was like, a guardian angel saved my life. And they fell asleep in their home and they were having issues. I don't remember why they like were sleeping so soundly, but all of a sudden they heard a "get up" in their ear, like clear as day.
Yeah.
And like their house was on fire.
You know what that's called? The third man. Have you heard of this?
No.
Yeah, it's a very well documented phenomenon. It is one of the most common. We have a whole episode that's just called Third Man, or like Third Man Stories. It's called Supernatural Survival. It's one of the most common stories I get from people where life or death situations. It's usually a life or death situation.
Yeah.
A lot of car crashes. Someone will visit the person in that moment. Where sometimes it's someone who says they're an EMT that no one else can see, but a lot of times it's someone they know who's already passed away, like their grandfather. They even talk about it in I don't know if you watched the Biggest Loser documentary that just came out.
No.
In like the second episode, one of the women in the first episode, she runs too far and has some sort of heart condition and like passes out and dies for a moment. And she even says, I was on the helicopter and I know I died because I saw my grandfather and woke up in a hospital. But even she had someone come to her. And it's just really common.
Wow.
We've gotten some crazy stories from listeners about like, I was in a car crash and my grandpa was in the passenger seat after I got hit and he told me exactly what to do to stop the bleeding. And then I survived. And yeah, they'll tell the EMTs too, like, oh, there was like someone showed up and told me what to do to stop the bleeding. And the EMTs are like, oh, that person was probably a ghost. Like that happens at a lot of these scenes, like when someone's been hurt as badly as you have.
My God.
Yeah.
I remember seeing something along these lines of like, did you ever watch the movie with Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner? The Guardian?
No.
It's a movie about like the Coast Guard.
No. Oh, I know which one you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Okay, I'll add it to my list. I'll watch it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the two of them, their chemistry, they're good. But at the end, they like, because it's loosely based on a true story, I think, but at the end, they just talk about like the Coast Guard and like how there's like stories about these people getting like capsized or whatever. They need to be rescued in the water. And they say that someone like sits with them for hours. And then they're always like, what about the other guy? They were with me. And it's like, no one else was there with you.
I fully believe that. I hear so many stories like that.
Especially stuff from the ocean. The ocean is like one of those places that like, maybe we need to do an ocean episode someday because the ocean is insane.
There's so many
lakes,
scary
the Great
stories.
Lakes, water.
Yeah. Just in general, there's so much, like there's a lot of spooky stuff going on in bodies of water. But I totally believe that about the Coast Guard, that there's like another guy there.
I think that's why it's literally called The Guardian. It's all making sense now.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Moving along to this next one. We're getting into a phenomenon I'm really excited to talk with you about. And I have a story for your episode we're doing for your show.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of has this similar thing, like time slip, alternate reality. So I'm really curious. You guys might remember the story I'm hinting at. It's in, I think, the very first spooky episode we ever did. It came from a listener who's a paranormal investigator.
Ooh.
And I actually just had him email me a couple more stories.
Oh my gosh. I'm
for
sure
this year.
He's seen so much.
I just got one back and it was actually like I'll tell you about it. I'll spoil it for you, but no spoilers for you guys. And it's one of the best stories I think I've ever gotten.
Wow.
It's really good.
Oh my
but
God,
this one is up there too.
Okay,
so this one is coming from our very own Two Hot Takes subreddit. It's a year old. I actually read it on a Patreon spooky episode a year ago now.
Okay.
So I'm pulling it from my vault because it is that good.
Because it's so good.
It is titled, The Night I Started Believing in the Paranormal. Hi, y'all. I'm watching the most recent podcast and heard y'all were looking for some spooky ghost stories, and I've got one that still creeps me out to this day. Sorry in advance for the long post, but I want to get all the details in. LOL. Now, just to preface, this story happened a few years ago when I was still in high school. I grew up in a small town, so it was often hard for us young, angsty teens to find things to do. Me, now 21 female, and my best friend, also 21 female, our usual Friday night consisted of driving around aimlessly trying to find something to do. This night, it was me, my best friend, who I'll call Cindy, Cindy's boyfriend, Aaron, and Aaron's best friend, Zach. Now, on to the story. We were doing our usual routine of driving around the nearby big city when Aaron decided to call up his other friend who lived nearby. Now, this friend I'd never met before, but Aaron said he lived in this small mountain town close to where we were driving. I'd never heard of this town, but it is known for its history in being an old copper mining town. The friend didn't answer, but we decided to drive up that way anyways, as the friend had a cool car Aaron and Zach wanted to look at. Big car guys. We start driving up there, and mind you, it's close to 2 a.m. at this point. We had driven on dark roads throughout this entire night, and the vibes were all good. We're driving on this dark, barren road when we pass under a bridge. Immediately, I become overwhelmed by this eerie feeling. Something just felt off. I thought it was just me experiencing this, as everyone else was talking and joking about, so I brushed it off. By the time we get up to the town, Cindy was passed out in the passenger seat. I was sat behind Cindy, and Zach was sat behind Aaron, who was driving. The second we start to see houses, we all collectively agree that something about this town was just off. The streets looked impeccably clean and polished, the sidewalks all completely smooth, as if the concrete had just been laid. I had made an offhand comment about how it felt like we were transported to another time. The boys in the car collectively agreed with me, all of us acknowledging how it felt like we had passed through a portal straight to the 1930s. We continued on the drive, making jokes in an attempt to lighten the strange atmosphere we had stumbled upon. At this point, I chalked it up to the dark night and the fact that the whole town was likely asleep. Then we see the park. Now here's the thing about this park. It wasn't a full-on park, literally just a plot of grass with huge-ass trees. The road allowed you to loop completely around the park, and it was absolutely empty when we first arrived. Aaron makes a comment about the park, saying he had taken pictures of his car in it before. Then he decides to drive around the park and show us where the photos were taken. As we begin the loop around this park, I feel this creepy feeling begin to intensify. The best way to describe it is it was like a heavy weight pushing down on the air in the car. At this point, it's close to summer, so all the windows are down as we're cruising along. Once we get close to the end of the loop, I spot a couple of deer outside my window. This was the first and only sign of life we saw the entire time we were there. No people, no other animals, no cars, just 3 deer. Aaron pulls over so we can get a better look at them and then decides to call his friend again to see if he would answer. At this point, I'm watching these deer and trying to distract myself from this seemingly unwarranted anxiety I was feeling. While Aaron was on the phone, Cindy was still passed out, and Zach is staring out his open window, which faced the park. Not long into us being parked here, does Zach start to yell and frantically try to roll up his window. Both Aaron and I were shocked by Zach's sudden screaming, and both go look at whatever had freaked Zach out so much. When I look out Zach's window, I saw something that I still cannot explain to this day. There, sitting beside one of the large trees, was a pure white figure. So white it looked like it was glowing. I got a pretty good glimpse at this figure, and it almost seemed blurry, but you could clearly make out the shape of a hooded person. It appeared to be kneeling with its head bowed, almost like it was praying. At this point, Zach is screaming for Aaron to get us the fuck out of there. All I could do was freeze in fear and stare at this figure sat alone in the park. Aaron, after getting a good look at the figure himself, proceeds to kick the car in a drive and hightail it out of there. This all happened in probably a matter of seconds, but everything seemed to move so slow. I remember so vividly how my heart was pounding and how paralyzing the atmosphere felt. I almost remember telling myself to not look back at whatever the hell the thing was and to just focus at the headrest in front of me. The car ride out of town was completely silent, and we only began to discuss what we had seen as we descended down the mountain. Just as we passed under the aforementioned bridge, it felt like reality snapped back into place. The atmosphere lightened and the world looked back to normal. At this point, we were all freaking out about what happened, and I was surprised to find that the boys also felt this snap. The best way we could summarize it, it was like waking up from a dream. At this point, Cindy finally wakes up after sleeping through the whole ordeal, and we begin to tell her the story. I normally would have summed this up to us being tired and it being dark, but what really cemented what I saw was the fact that both of the boys saw the exact same thing. We all described the exact same hooded figure kneeling with its head bowed. I was the type of person who, if asked, I would have said I didn't particularly believe in ghosts. I liked the idea of ghosts and the spooky ambiance the subject brings, but I didn't believe in the slightest. I'm a pretty rational person with very science-based beliefs. After this experience, I would say I do believe that the supernatural is possible. I'm still unaware of what I saw that day, and I don't think I'll ever truly know. What I can say is that since that day, I feel almost a heightened sense when it comes to anything paranormal, especially considering I 100% believe that the house I currently live in is haunted. But that's a story for another time, LOL. However, one thing I truly will never forget about this experience is how when I looked at that figure, a cold fear I had never experienced before washed over me completely. I often think about how peaceful the figure seemed, and despite that fact, something in my gut told me to get the fuck away from it. That fact alone creeps me out still as I'm writing this. It almost felt like it was trying to put up this facade of innocence to lure us in. I have a good intuition and know when to trust my gut, and I'm glad I did that day, because who knows what that thing was capable of. Once I was home, I began doing some research on the town in some attempt to decipher what I had seen. While looking back at old black and white photos of the town, I realized how on that night, it looked exactly like those photos. I was pretty creeped out and haven't done more research into it until making this post. For anyone curious as to what town I'm talking about and wanting to do some research yourself, it's Copperton, Utah. I'll link the website with the photos I saw at the top of this post. If anyone finds anything of interest, please do share.
Whoa.
I know. Here's the picture of the town that they shared.
Yeah, I want to see what it looks like. Because already old mining towns are so spooky. Oh.
It's very, like, granted, this is an old picture right when the town was made. It's pretty cute.
It's cute. It looks very liminal. It looks like a liminal space a little bit.
That's a big word for me.
You've definitely seen pictures of like liminal suburbia,
okay,
where all the houses look the same. It almost looks like a fake town. Like, did you ever see Don't Worry, Darling?
Okay, yeah.
That is kind of like liminal suburbia.
Okay.
Where you can see the mountains in the back, but it looks like the town is fake, like almost like all the houses would be empty.
It's so crazy. When I first saw this post on our subreddit, I actually commented and I was like, did you see any cars in the driveway? Like, because if you went back in time, like my first thought was like, would you see any old cars in the driveway?
Right, yeah.
And OP said that they didn't notice any cars.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, damn.
I know, because I would be curious if this was some sort of time slip. My first instinct was the back rooms. I know that that's...
Yeah, what is that?
So the back rooms is a creepypasta about liminal spaces.
Okay.
Everyone has probably seen The Office Space. It's very Severance, the first level of the back rooms. But the idea of the back rooms is like you could at any point during your day accidentally slip into this liminal space that kind of feels like an alternate dimension. It feels like you're the only person there and the lights are just wrong enough and the walls look weird enough that it just doesn't feel like you're in our reality.
Oh my God.
So the idea that they drove under this bridge and that was some sort of portal or something into this neighborhood that just didn't feel right. And it felt abandoned. It felt like they were the only ones there. And also in backrooms lore, there's always an entity. There's always some sort of entity on each floor. And so it's almost like this white glowing figure was the entity in this level of the backrooms.
I have never heard about this backrooms before.
I love the backroom so much. I did a whole episode on I did an episode of times that people have accidentally wound up in liminal spaces and gotten trapped. And it was really spooky. Like there was this one woman who she remembers being on a flight in Canada. This happened up in Canada. She's on a flight and drink service starts. She puts her head on the window, falls asleep. She wakes up. Plane is pitch black. There's no other people on the plane. The pilot is gone.
What?
She looks out of the window. She realizes that the plane had landed and moved into everyone left and moved into the storage unit that holds the plane at night. And she had been sleeping and no one thought to wake her up and get her off the plane. So she was trapped on this plane.
No. Like she actually, this
is real. It was.
They forgot to get her.
I forget the airline that it happened on, but she sued the airline. So no one woke her up and they forgot to get her. She's stuck on this plane. And a plane, you can't just open the door and get off. You're high up. So she had to figure out.
And if you've never opened one of those doors, it's actually really hard to open one of the doors.
And it was pitch black at night too. And it's not like you don't just open the door. You have to crank the whole thing open. And even then you can't just really jump down.
No,
so
it's big.
She was able to get rescued, but the whole episode is about times that has happened to people where people wake up after surgery and are the only person because they're on the abandoned floor of the hospital and they don't know how they got there.
This is my nightmare.
People walk into the stairwell of a mall and can't get out because they get lost. Like it's just there's so many spaces like that in our world.
It's reminding me of Denver Airport. And I don't remember. I saw a video on TikTok of like a guy who was like, I'm in Denver Airport and I'm trying to get to my next gate. And I've been walking for miles and I'm not going anywhere. I'm like literally I'm trapped in this airport. I don't even know how to get back.
It's like the woods in the Blair Witch Project. You're like, I keep walking past the same gate and I'm not getting anywhere. Yes, it is very much that.
That would really bother me. I have a really hard time on planes, like really, really hard time. I'm scared of flying. I'm going to test out beta blockers, but I have to test it out before my wedding because I want to take a beta blocker on my wedding day so I don't cry as much. This is my
for the photos.
I just like don't want to be up there trying to give vows and I'm just like I've literally like I have a hard time with some of these Reddit stories, but like that I can edit out and like me and Lauren will literally be crying like for a minute straight, but we can edit it out.
Of course.
You can't do that when you're up there.
No.
And it's mostly just because like you feel that like that craziness in your heart. So
yeah, definitely.
I got some beta blockers, but I'm like I need to test it out before the wedding. But now that I'm saying this out loud.
Are beta blockers, are they the ones that you take like in the emergency or do you have to take them every day for them to work?
No, you usually just take them before big things. Like I know a lot of like stand-up comedians will take them before live shows to keep their heart rate down.
I think that's what I take on planes then.
Okay, so maybe a plane is a good place to try it.
So what I did, because I was also kind of scared to take them first because I have anxiety that's really bad. And then I also have anxiety about taking things. So I like get the medicine and then I'm like, what if it's
That's literally me.
What if it makes me panic more?
We are the same with our fear of planes and
I know,
our hypochondriacism?
Hypochondria?
Hypochondriaism?
Yeah, hypochondria. I think it's hypochondria.
But how do you say that as an ism?
I don't think you have to. Do you have to add ism?
No, probably not.
Or both of our hypochondriacism.
We're both hypochondriacs.
What I did was I took one the night before the flight while I was just packing, just to be like,
test it out.
Does my airway close up? Like, do I panic? Do I see the Hat Man? Like, does anything bad happen? And the answer was no. And so I took one on my flight the next day.
Was it good?
It's really good. I understand now why they only give you 8 pills.
I feel better
in
already.
one serving or like one prescription because like it's really good.
Okay.
But it did make a huge difference. Like normally during takeoff, I am white knuckling my seat.
Oh yeah. Takeoff and landing.
And it was like, I didn't even remember takeoff, not in like, I was so messed up, I didn't remember. I just like was not focused on the fact that the plane was leaving the ground at all. Yeah. I was like on my phone or listening to something and it was great. I think it'll help you a lot.
I think I need to try it because, and this is kind of like a paranormal weird thing, like when I'm flying, I have Final Destination type dreams. So in my dreams, I will be sitting on the plane, I'm the window seat and I'll fall asleep and I'll put my head up against the window. And then all of a sudden in my dream, like the bells start chiming on the plane and like all of a sudden I look out the window and like the wing snaps off and the plane is spiraling down.
Oh my gosh.
And sometimes I wake up as we crash, but then there was one time I survived through the crash and I remember I was like towards the back of the plane and like I was like crawling out through the window, but like I could feel my skin charred and I felt like the smoke in my lungs in my dream. And then I snapped back and I'm awake alive on a plane.
Oh my God.
So I'm like,
that's
beta blocker,
really scary.
Let's go.
That is pure anxiety. Yeah,
I know.
That's really bad.
But that, like, to me, that feels like a weird alternate universe time slip thing on a plane. Like, because it feels so
real. And you're like, okay, so either I am a prophet chosen by God to see the future, or I just have really bad anxiety. And that's what's making me dream this. And every single time I'm like, no, I am seeing the future. This is going to happen. But that's the anxiety speaking. And so like the meds help with that at least.
I'm like genuinely, I don't know what it is about a plane. And then the other day.
It's because we don't understand how they work. And it's like, it is a very unnatural thing for humans to do.
And I have to do it so much, unfortunately. Like I wish I could take a wagon.
I know. And it's like, I thought with how much that I fly, it's like exposure therapy, and I would one day, and it's, no, not at all. It does not help. The more I fly, it does not make me feel less anxious. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's so bad. What do you think the figure, back to the story.
Yeah, back to the story.
What do you think the figure was?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out because it sounds like what did they say? It was so white. It almost looked like it was glowing, but it wasn't necessarily glowing, and it was kind of blurry. I don't know. It felt like kind of ghosty, kind of like an omen. The fact that it kneeled down and started praying was also very strange. It reminds me a little bit of like almost the movie The Ritual, where there's like maybe something in
it looks terrifying.
That thing. Oh, it's horrible. Like in the best way. It's one of my favorite horror movies, but it is very, very scary. But the idea that that thing came out and it bowed down, it's actually worshiping the scarier thing that's in the woods that you just haven't seen yet.
Oh,
like this is just
no.
a foot soldier for the really horrifying thing that lives there. So I don't know.
Yeah. At first I was like, maybe, I think I said like when I first read it, it was giving me like Grim Reaper, like a different version of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, because you were telling me before too, sometimes people see the Grim Reaper as a white figure, not a hooded black figure.
Yeah, there's actually a couple Reddit posts I've seen on it. And I probably looked this up on the original time I read it.
That's really scary. See, that to me is Final Destination stuff. If you saw the Grim Reaper and you escaped alive, is death just coming for you in other ways now?
Yeah, like there's this one from r/ghost. Saw a Grim Reaper white cloaked man at bedside. Several weeks ago, I was awoken to a man in a Grim Reaper cloak, face covered, standing at my husband's side of the bed, sort of looking at his nightstand and at him. In no way was I dreaming. I was terrified, paralyzed with fear, pretended to be asleep. As I did, I cracked my eyes to see again, and he was gone. Someone goes,
did they write any follow-up? Like, did their husband die? Ugh, that's so scary. I would be so freaked out.
Grim Reaper in a white robe is another post on Paranormal Encounters.
Wow.
Saw the Grim Reaper as a kid. It was a white hooded figure in a doorway. So I feel like a lot of people actually see the Grim Reaper white.
Which is interesting. I guess there's a lot of white light associated with death.
Going to the light.
Going to the light. White. Yeah.
Do you see the light?
Heaven is a lot of like angels in white. So it wouldn't surprise me that's like other beings that they're seeing from beyond the veil are also cloaked in white, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and like the Grim Reaper, I'm so curious where the origin stories of the Grim Reaper came from. Because you see it in like all of these movies. There's always like someone that's like a guide to like be the bridge or whatever. And so I'm like, was the Grim Reaper, why did he get such like a negative like association with like dark and the sickle and like a hooded figure and scary Grim Reaper?
Yeah.
Because okay, death is scary, but like who's to say the Grim Reaper isn't like a happy little glowing white man who is like your little bridge, your buddy as he drives you up.
Yeah, I
or
mean,
sends you down.
I guess it would depend on the time period that the origin comes from, right? Because the idea of like dying peacefully as an old person is such a luxury that we have today in our society. Back in the day,
Okay, that's true.
you were dying of horrible illnesses and infections and your village being pillaged in the middle of the night and other war things. Like it was a lot more grisly and they were just like throwing the bodies in these mass graves and stuff. So yeah, this like peaceful death thing that we get to experience now is
It really is.
death wasn't always looked at as like, oh, he's taking you over the Rainbow Bridge. It's like
Okay, you weren't. See, this is why you have smart people on your show.
I mean, that's just my guess. I should have like looked
No.
into the origin of that at some point, but that would be my guess.
This is a new Heart Starts Pounding episode sometime soon. Grim Reaper originated in 14th century Europe as a personification of death during the Black Death pandemic.
That makes sense to me.
I said it right the first time, didn't I? The sickle?
Yeah, sickle.
What's the
Scythe.
Scythe. Yep. The scythe symbolizes reaping souls like wheat.
There you go.
Just like so many of them.
There were so many of them at the time.
God.
And that was a really grisly way to die too. So
Black Death pandemic.
yeah, people just in the streets screaming the whole way. Yeah, it was not a fun time. I would know I was there. No.
Reincarnated. Woo. Okay, well, on that note, let's move along to the next one
On
here.
that really beautiful, happy note.
So, death. We all do it eventually. So let's talk about a funeral home experience.
Ooh.
This is coming from r/paranormal, 21 hours old, titled Weird Funeral Home Experience. I work for a cleaning company and we do mostly residential homes, but we have a few buildings we take care of as well. We clean for this local family chain of funeral homes weekly, and one of the buildings is a lot stranger than the other. I get the weirdest feeling whenever I enter this building, and I constantly feel like I have to look behind me because it feels like I'm being watched. The workers here are super friendly, and they are always just in their office. They've never once hovered in the nearly 4 years I've worked here. One day, I cleaned all the areas that are for the grieving: bathrooms, kitchen, casket, display room, and I had moved to the back where the staff bathroom, flower delivery room, and kitchen area were. Back in this area, there's also the entrance to their mortuary. It is not uncommon for them to have caskets out, ready to be wheeled into a display room if there is a funeral starting shortly after I'm supposed to leave. When I was cleaning the bathroom, I had my back to the door while cleaning the front outside of the toilet, and I get a weird sense I'm being watched. So I turn around, and I see a man looking at me. After a few seconds, he walks away. So I jump up and look out the door down the long hallway. He wasn't there. The weird part about this is that he wasn't a worker, as I have seen and met all of their staff, and he wasn't in uniform. He also wasn't a flower delivery man because there were no flowers in the delivery room. He couldn't have been a funeral guest because they had no funerals or appointments that day. He made me so scared. I haven't been alone in there since. There are other instances where workers have been freaked out there too. One coworker said she was vacuuming the long hallway in the back where they have the rack for jackets, and they just started swaying at random, and not gently swaying. The other weird thing about this is that the other building doesn't have this feeling or any weird stories like this, and we've had a contract with this company for a long time. The other building is almost light feeling, like I haven't looked over my shoulder once while there. Anyways, this happened to me a while ago, but I still think about it. It was so strange, and after going through this subreddit, I felt like I needed to share.
Whoa. I've always wanted to do an episode on scary funeral home stories.
Oh my gosh.
But it's hard to get stories specifically from funeral homes, ghost stories.
Do we have any out there that listen that are directors or work at a funeral home?
I would be so curious because
I feel like we got to have one.
There's definitely there has to be.
We've
Someone
got to have
who works
one.
at a funeral home or a funeral director.
Yeah.
Where the explanation I've gotten sometimes is that a funeral home is where the vessel of the body sits in kind of this intermediary period. Like the person has already died, the spirit has already left. The body's in the funeral home and then it gets buried. So the idea that ghosts hang out in funeral homes is not really as much of a thing versus like hospitals where the person died or at the person's home or like the places that the person had ties to. It's like your body's at the funeral home for like 3 days and then it's gone.
It's just a shell.
I would be so curious like who the man was. Was his body downstairs? Was it someone who worked there or like had some sort of tie to this funeral home? But yeah, most funeral directors are like, no, we haven't had any like scary experiences here, which is fascinating to me because you would think.
That's so surprising.
Yeah.
For me, that's surprising because I'm like, if I was stuck in this liminal space, I'm walking around and I can see everyone, but I'm out of my body. I'd be trying to go put myself back in my body. Like I'd be trying to like, where's my body? So like, I feel like if you are stuck, maybe you have to be stuck in the place you died. But I feel like for me, I'd want to go like make sure my shell gets put in the ground the way I want.
Go try to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like some people wake up in there. Like, I don't know. Like something about funeral homes, like really like
in the fridge, they wake up.
So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I told you this story about the scariest story I ever got from someone who works inside of a funeral home. This actually, I think, was on an episode of Radio Rental. But this woman, I don't think she was a funeral director. She worked at a funeral home or some sort of, it was a funeral home that also had a crematorium. They also disposed of bodies that way there. This woman comes and she has her husband's body. And she's like, he died. We have to do a really rush cremation job because like in my religion, like people have to be cremated really fast within 24 hours. And the person's like, who works at the funeral home is like, okay, like totally want to respect your wishes. Let's figure it out. Whatever, they figure it out. Wife leaves and she's prepping the body. And she's like, this person's like really warm for being recently deceased.
What?
And just had this feeling of like, it wasn't as warm as a normal body, but it wasn't as cold as a dead body. So she kind of like starts freaking out about it. Eventually they do cremate this man.
No.
Morgan, no one ever came to pick up the ashes.
Yeah, because she killed him.
Yeah. They could not get a hold of the wife after that.
How did she get him there? Did she just like drive this body in her own personal car?
I wonder, or I guess I don't know if, right, because hospitals don't have to arrange the stuff with funeral homes because people die at home and then they just go to the funeral home, you know? So
you can self-arrange.
Yeah, you can just self-arrange. So she must have just self-arranged, was like, yeah, someone died, I guess, was able to get a death certificate or something. I don't know, but the person that worked at the funeral home was like, I still think about this all the time. This case, this will haunt me forever.
That would haunt me.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all right now, I want Jewish style, 3 days, okay? Wood box, no metal. I want to go back to the earth. But just give me a bell, okay?
Just in case.
Just
like old
in
days.
Case.
Yeah.
Like give me a bell because I swear to God, if I get put in a box and then I have to like suffocate down there or just give me a bell. Just give me a little bell. That's fine.
Those are the scariest stories to me. There's this La Recoleta cemetery in Argentina where there's a tomb of this 15-year-old girl. She died in like 1904 or sometime around then. And she gets buried in her tomb. And that night, the guy who works at the cemetery, the groundskeeper of the cemetery, also they're all above ground tombs, kind of like how you see in New Orleans.
Like crypts or whatever.
Yeah, crypts. So mausoleums, he starts hearing banging coming from her tomb. And he's like, that's weird. Sometimes I hear ghosty things, so I'm not going to think too much of it. But her aunt comes and he's like, hey, I just thought you should know, like the other night I did hear some banging coming from her tomb. I don't know what that was. I don't know if someone was trying to rob the tomb. You might just want to check because she was from a wealthy family. And so the aunt pays to have her tomb opened, and inside of her coffin are just scratch marks everywhere.
No.
And she was like face down. So she had flipped herself over, scratch marks everywhere. She had definitely tried to get out.
She didn't make it out.
She didn't make it out.
What the fuck?
But it was a thing. It came out afterwards that her mom had been pursuing, because she was 15 years old, but she was set to be married to this like older politician in town. And the mom was maybe pursuing him. She also had this condition where she would faint. So they think that the mom kind of took advantage of the fact that she fainted one night and was able to kind of very quickly have this funeral and get her buried. And
oh my God.
she was definitely not dead.
That guy could have saved her.
He could have saved her. I know the groundskeeper if he just like ran in there, but so scary. So scary.
Yeah, maybe we need to start bringing bells back.
Yeah.
We should start bringing bells back. Or like bury him with an iPhone that's got a charge for at least a week. 'Cause it's like emergency button.
You get an iPhone, yeah, with just some sort of emergency button. Yes.
Send me down with something, guys. I'm telling you right now, like, send me down with something. What?
I know.
How long ago was this?
I mean, it was the early 1900s, so it was 120 years ago. But it doesn't really happen as much these days because we have ways to, yeah, exactly.
Somewhat.
Hospitals that check your blood pressure and make sure you're actually dead. But I guess if you just die at home and your family just arranges really quickly for you to be buried, it can still happen.
I know, because like, how does that work? I really hope we have some funeral directors that can chime in on this, because if you just die at home, like if I died in my sleep, like would they have to do an autopsy?
Mm-mm.
They don't have to?
No, you have to have one ordered. You don't have to do an autopsy.
Even if I'm just healthy 31-year-old and I died?
No, my uncle just died. He wasn't that old. And they had to specifically order an autopsy. Because you could just be like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, we'll just.
That seems really fishy.
Yeah.
I know, actually, this is a really interesting thing here in the state of California. So there was a cast member on this season of Survivor named Joe. And so Joe really talks about on the season, like losing his sister and how he's like made a big push for domestic violence laws in the state of California. And so like I looked more into it, and his sister was in a really, really bad relationship. According to like one article I saw was like attempting to leave, but then died. And Joe thinks it's like very mysterious circumstances surrounding her death.
Yeah.
And because she was still married to the partner who was not great at the time, he had control over everything that happened afterwards. So he did not order an autopsy.
Yeah.
And so Joe has been really pushing where in cases where domestic abuse and violence has been documented, if that person dies, an autopsy is mandatory. Like I don't know if it's gone through yet, but he was really pushing for that.
Oh, that's so great that he's doing that.
I know, because he's like, my sister wouldn't do that. Like, what happened? Like, so he's really trying to get justice for her. And I think even afterwards, like the guy moved on quick and was seeing someone else, or just there's a bunch of weird stuff with it.
It's so weird. Yeah, there was that case of the dentist in Colorado who poisoned his wife.
In the smoothies, right?
With the smoothies. And she died. They couldn't figure out why. And he was like, no autopsy.
What?
Just demanded that they didn't do an autopsy. And luckily for the whole situation, he was dumb enough to have the cyanide sent to his office. So the office manager got the package and was like, this is kind of weird. Googled cyanide because she didn't know what it was. And the first things that pop up were all the symptoms that his wife was having. So she's like, I feel like I should call someone about this.
Yeah.
Called the hospital. That's how they figured it out. But just crazy.
There's been a lot of poisoning cases like that recently.
Yeah.
There was another one that someone commented to us and told us to look into, and it was another guy who had like poisoned his wife with something used for hunting.
Oh, really?
Oh, I forget what it was.
Like, yeah, what would that even be?
I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. But like, there's been a lot of poisoning cases recently.
There was the big high profile one in Australia, the mushroom poisoning case.
What?
Yeah, mom has her husband's whole family over, invited the husband, but he didn't show up. Serves them death cap mushrooms in a beef Wellington. Two of them died, 2 of them survived. There was 4 people there, I believe.
My God.
And the police asked her like, hey, so those mushrooms you served were death caps. They weren't like food safe mushrooms. Where did you get them? And she goes, oh, the Asian store. Mind you,
okay.
She
No.
just thought if she said that, no one would question it. Like, oh yeah, the Asian store is always selling death cap mushrooms. First of all, there was no Asian store that she bought them from. She just like totally made that up. I can't remember exactly where she sourced them from. Like all the stuff is coming out on the case now because she was just sentenced.
Oh my God.
But then there was another one in Brazil where this woman put arsenic in a cake and fed it to her husband's entire extended family.
Wait, you have an episode on that one, don't you?
I talk about it. So I have a whole episode we did it in February of this year.
I feel like I listened to one. Maybe it was like a mailbag episode you did or something.
I think I gave an update on it because I covered the Colorado dentist poisoning case. And then at the end, I talk about this Brazil poisoning case. And then in a mailbag episode, the day I put that episode out, the woman who did it took her own life in prison. So I gave,
What?
and then a lot more information came out. So I gave a little update about the case in like the
God.
mailbag episode. But that one was crazy because the family will never see justice because the mom who did it just like took her own life.
Oh
so
my gosh.
It's just horrible.
Poisoning is insane.
She poisoned her own 10-year-old son. She just didn't care. She just wanted to get back at her husband.
Oh my God.
Horrible.
And this is why we have a true crime podcast.
I know.
One note for you about the funeral home experience. The top comment on this one, former office administrator of a funeral home here. I heard a watery hello, hello once when I was there sitting at my desk all by myself one dead Sunday afternoon. I canvassed the area. No one was there.
Oh my gosh. Heartsizepounding.com. If you work in a funeral home, I have a form. Send me your stories. I'll compile them all for an episode. That's spooky.
This is someone else. You should message them on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Their username is Blazing Entrails.
Okay, I'll find Blazing Entrails.
I don't love it.
That sounds like slang for some really horrible illness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, nope. Not loving it. But okay, moving on to this next one. Okay, so this is coming from r/paranormal, 5 days old, titled, "What was your paranormal experience that turned you into a hardcore believer?" I'm an unbeliever and have yet to experience anything paranormal. No matter what people say, I still have a hard time in believing in the paranormal, yet I'm curious about people's stories. I think a part of me wants to believe and wants to have an experience, but sadly, I don't think there is a way or place to have a guaranteed encounter. And then this is the top comment so far. This is a long read, so bear with me. I used to work nights at a group home for people with mental impairments and illnesses. We had a guy, let's call him Ray. Ray stopped participating in reality after his parents were murdered in front of him. The dude was legitimately bonkers. He exclusively drank toilet water because he thought the tap water and bottled water was poisoned. I tried to explain toilet water was tap water, but no dice. I also tried to at least get him to drink the tank water. No luck there either. Occasionally, Ray would start screaming in his room like, "Stop," and "Shut up," or "Leave me alone," which was accompanied by loud banging on the walls. This mainly occurred at night. We assumed he was throwing stuff at the voices in his head since his belongings were often scattered. This isn't very uncommon with people suffering from severe schizophrenia. The only evidence of the contrary was we almost always found him in bed and his belongings were on his dresser on the other side of the room, and one time he had a black eye. We assumed he got caught with a ricochet from throwing a baseball he had. He always denied he threw anything and seemed legitimately scared every time we came in to check on him. This wasn't what convinced me, though. What convinced me of spirits or energy that could manipulate physical reality was I was lying on the couch watching TV at like 2:30 a.m. when all of a sudden the doorbell starts ringing like crazy. Think a stranger is getting chased down by Jason holding a knife and they are trying to get help type of doorbell ringing. It felt frantic almost. I get up and walk over. Mind you, the door is like 15 feet away and the door has a huge window built into it. The top half of the door is basically entirely window. As I'm walking over, I don't see anyone. I assumed it was another staff, so I open the door to see if they left a note or something. Nothing. I go check out the front. No cars. I thought it was weird, but whatever. I go inside and check if it was a resident. They were all asleep. I kind of brushed it off at this point, but as soon as I walk back over to the couch and right as I'm about to sit down, it starts up again. I'm fairly freaked out. I walk back over to the door and nothing again. I double check that the door is locked and go back. As soon as my butt hits the couch, it starts again. I sprinted to the door and swung it open halfway, expecting another staff to be crouched and laughing. No one was there. I started freaking out at this point because it would not have been possible to get away without seeing since the walkway to the door was enclosed between two walls of the house for about 20 feet. I only had to sprint 10 feet to the door and could see out the window within 1 foot. At this point, I'm genuinely terrified. I closed the door. The second the door closed, the bell starts going off again, almost taunting me. I locked the deadbolt and ran from the door. This time, the bell kept going for a long time. This further drove home the feeling of it taunting me. I turned the living room lights and TV off, kept the walkway light on so I could clearly see out the window. At around 3, the doorbell stopped and scratching in the walls and attic started. I spent all night huddled on that couch. I even took a write-up for not getting any nightly chores done. I wrote up a work order for maintenance to check for squirrels and check the electrical. They didn't find any evidence of squirrels, and the doorbell circuit looked okay. That was the only time the doorbell ever acted up, they said. I did occasionally hear more scratching in the walls on my shift. I doubt it was squirrels, though, since I don't think squirrels follow you around to scratch the walls near you. After that, I was a lot less skeptical of Ray.
Wow. That is so spooky, hearing things in the walls.
If I had stuff in the walls, like, you can hear, I can just hear the scratching on like sheetrock or plaster in my head. And as you're walking, the scratching just follows you.
Yeah.
I'd lose it. I'd crash out.
Yeah. I'd crash out big time. It's when they said, so the first poster was like, I don't know where to go to have like a guaranteed experience. It made me think of one place that I've researched, Waverly Hills Sanitarium. Have you heard of this
No.
place? Sanatorium.
Okay.
It's in Kentucky, and it is this old tuberculosis hospital.
It's always the TB hospitals.
It's always the TB hospitals. But of all the places I've looked into, it seems to be the most guaranteed to see something. Just everyone I know that's gone there, all of my listeners that have gone there, all the reviews, it seems like everyone sees something whenever they go.
And you can buy tickets to go through their haunted house.
Yeah, they have a tour. You can go tour it. They have, I think you could go for like an hour tour, or you can pay to spend the entire night there and do like a real ghost hunt, which sounds very spooky. But there's apparently on like the 3rd floor, there's a hallway, and the tour guide just sends you down by yourself. And that's the spot where everyone has experiences.
Jesus.
I do want to go. I'm going to go at some point, but I'm a little spooked to go.
I want Justin to go because he really does want to have like an official experience.
Yeah.
He's had some weird stuff at our house, and this is where I get a little conflicted on the ghost being good or there being something a little darker there. He like woke up one night and like at the bottom of the bed saw like a really dark, scary, like he describes it like really well, but like a dark figure. And then he said he felt all of a sudden like both legs got yanked down.
Of his legs got yanked down.
Yeah.
Something grabbed his legs.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he looked over at me and I'm still sleeping peacefully. So like I didn't feel it, but like he's like, no, like it was physical. I was awake and something yanked me down.
And even then he doesn't feel like he's had a paranormal experience?
No. Which is what
does he think that was?
I don't know. I think he like in his head, he's like, well, like maybe it was like a sleep paralysis thing. But I was like, one, you've never had sleep paralysis ever in your life before. And you moved. You got yanked down.
Yeah.
And you saw something, but I know people can see. So I'm like, I don't know. I think he's trying to rationalize
and he
it.
looked at you.
Yeah, he looked at me.
He was moving. When I have sleep paralysis, I'm fully... And everyone I know that has sleep paralysis, all my listeners with sleep paralysis, you're locked in.
Paralyzed.
You're not really looking at the person next to you or...
No, because he said he sat up and then like looked over at me to make sure I was okay.
Yeah, you're not doing that with sleep paralysis.
I know. So he still is like, no, I want a real experience. And I'm like, what? That was a real experience.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Ida, I feel like Ida is good, but like, I don't know. I need to have someone come.
There could be something else in your house too, though. Yeah, maybe have someone come and just feel it out.
Do we have any professionals in the Los Angeles area that can come help me?
Just come get a read on the place.
Come get a
Do
vibe.
a walkthrough. Yeah.
Come get a vibe.
Yeah, just to see.
Because I do feel good energy. I've never felt the darkness, but like him having that experience and then our camera kind of being weird lately, I don't know what's going on. It all started on the anniversary of the lady who passed her birthday. It was like the 30th anniversary of her death. And that's when like the energy started picking up.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's.
I don't know what's happening.
I know 30 is a big one.
I mean, you always hear 3, like 3 a.m. or whatever the witching hour is.
Yeah, 3. So maybe, something about the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
Open something. When did you find bone in your backyard?
That was a different house.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did have
it's not
my
related.
animal experts because I posted this bone I found in the dirt in my backyard on Instagram, and people were like, that's a cow. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to call the FBI. Cool.
A scary ghost cow.
Dude, I thought I was about to be like the rug TikTok lady. Where
Oh,
she found a rug
like
buried.
we have to call the FBI because there was human remains found on our property.
Yeah. No.
You don't want that to be you.
But I'd be curious to go here. Maybe I won't go down that hallway. But
Yeah.
honestly, it does look like, just looking at the picture, it does give spooky. It's like very, honestly, very, very big for
It's
a
huge.
sanatorium. And just like
a lot of people had TB back in the day, so they had a lot of
know.
patients.
I
And it was kind of
know.
its own city, right? Because they decided to keep all those patients away from people. So it really was built as its own city. So everyone that was there was sick for the most part.
Yeah.
And some people would actually recover. It was in a good area where like the airflow was nice. And so some people would recover, but a lot of people died there. And
It was
there's
pretty.
tunnels underneath.
Tudor Gothic architecture. Tunnels.
Tunnels underneath. Yeah, because they would bring food and supplies up from the city or up from the surrounding towns up through these tunnels. But they would also, the story goes, send bodies from the morgue down the tunnels to the funeral homes. So, but you can go through the tunnels there.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I'm looking at the ticket prices. Only $20 if you want to get in.
Wow.
You can do an RIP for $60.
Oh my gosh. What does the RIP get you?
It doesn't really specify up here, but they have a paranormal tour. You can do a 2-hour tour in the dark. Come walk all 5 floors. Or you can do a public investigation yourself, which is 6 hours. Or you can do a group of 10 private investigation.
Ooh.
There we
I wonder
go.
if they supply you with I don't have any of the tech that people bring on those tours now. Everyone's got the radios and the dowsing rods and all that stuff. I don't have any of that
I can reach
stuff.
out to my paranormal investigator, see if he wants to join us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He'd be good to do that with. I'm sure he has all of the gadgets.
Where is this? Kentucky?
Yeah.
Kentucky? Okay.
We can do a trip.
I know where my guy lives. He's somewhat close to that.
Okay.
This is
Let's just
insane.
give him a date and meet him.
Oh my God. Okay. Maybe not around Halloween because that feels like we'd open up some really serious energy. So
Yeah, you got to be careful.
let me know when you're ready to go,
Yeah. Woo.
but not around Halloween.
That'd be fun.
Okay. I like Kentucky. Kentucky's a good time. I don't know
think
how
I've
I'm going to
ever
feel.
been.
Really?
No, so that'll be a first good trip to Kentucky.
Okay.
Going there.
There's a lot of paranormal stuff in Kentucky, I feel like.
I guess it makes sense, right? It
South.
was in the Civil War. Yeah.
Very, very involved in the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, oh my gosh, my ghost guy, I feel like he did say his name on the story. He said his name was Jake. I can say his first name. Jake, he's sending me some stories. And like one of them, actually, he did do an investigation at an old plantation. And it was
Woof.
really, really like the energy there and like what he experienced was like really, really hard, really heavy.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I know. So I feel like you hear just a lot. And then didn't you see our girl Annabelle in that plantation that burned down?
The Nottoway plantation, yeah.
Didn't they see Annabelle in the window or something crazy?
Some people on TikTok are like, look she's in the window.
Annabelle, man.
Yeah, the story with that is Annabelle was on tour and she was in New Orleans, and then the Nottoway plantation, it was the largest still standing plantation of the antebellum South. And it was, Nottoway plantation, lots of bodies buried on the property.
Really?
If you went on the
Yeah.
website, this is always what killed me about this. You would go on the Nottoway plantation and website, and it was like Nottoway Resort, and there was nary a mention. They had a whole page that I went on the website afterwards. They have a little tab on their website that says history. And I was like, great, I would love to learn some history on this place. The history included why 6 trees on the property had the names they had, because they were named after the Nottoway family. And that was the only history they gave you on the whole
Who gives
place.
a fuck about the trees? Talk
There
about the
was
actual history.
155 enslaved people on the property, and they never mentioned anything about that. So like,
That's what's so weird to me about like people having weddings at plantations. Like,
and it was all, yes, the website was full of people's weddings and just all these photos of people. They would do tours, did not bring up the history of the enslaved people on the property at all. Enslaved people built the house.
Yeah.
And
That's really bad.
And it was just about, well, this guy, he had a lot of trees and I forget exactly what it was that he was known for selling. He was like the biggest salesman of some sort of crop in the South. And so he was one of the richest men. And so that's what the whole tour is about. Like,
okay.
it was stupid.
Lies. Liar.
But it's all burned to the ground now. It was a total loss.
Our girl. I'm going to see if I can find the picture. Annabelle in the window.
Yeah, people thought they saw a lot of different figures and ghosts and things as the place was burning down.
Yeah. I saw a lot of like, and it honestly, like with my own eyes, it did look like that. Maybe if I can find the video, I'll try to post it on our Instagram. But as it was burning, like through the flames, you could see figures like walking through.
Yeah. I mean, fire is very
cleansing.
But releasing. Like it releases a lot of energy just even to burn. And so I think a lot of people, if like a haunted location burns down, a lot of people think that like all the spirits are also released.
I've seen that.
And so that's why you can see the figures within the flames and stuff.
I'm going to have to find these pictures and post them for you guys. It was, I remember it happening at the time and like people really being excited about our girl Annabelle. So
yeah,
let me know if you saw it, because if I can't find it, I'm going to need you guys to drop the links. But okay, I've got one last personal share and then some photos.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, this last official story coming from r/paranormal, 4 months old. It's titled Reddit. What's the creepiest, unexplainable thing you've experienced that still haunts you to this day? And then the person goes, when I was 12, I used to hear someone whisper my name every night at exactly 3:11 a.m. It wasn't sleep paralysis and I wasn't dreaming. It would wake me up from a deep sleep. One night, I decided to stay awake and wait. At 3:11, the door creaked open by itself and a whisper said, "You're awake now."
No. Whoa. Ugh.
Chills. I never stayed in that room again. Your turn to share. This is coming from username Not a Deer. I had a tough childhood and bad associations with my childhood home, so I don't ever know what to think about this. Poltergeist? Ghost? I slept with the lights on every single day. I do not remember a moment I did not feel uneasy in that house. The least of it was stuff turning up missing and reappearing. I would find stuffed animals that had been gone for months, sitting on top of the clean laundry that I'd washed myself, right on top to find. I would half finish books, and then they'd up and disappear, and I'd wake up with them on the floor by the front of my bed. Kitchen implements were famous around the house. The shears or the good knife would go missing and then reappear in the knife block at will. Forks would turn up on random end tables. Once I was looking for my glasses, and when I turned around, they were right on the floor behind me. Hated that. There was a patch of grass in the yard that was very much the classic 3-foot by 6-foot grave-looking area that no grass would ever grow no matter how well it was seeded. We lived on the site of an old railroad, and my father always said it must have been something industrial dumped or buried there, but the feeling of someone watching you was intense. The area around it had been landscaped, so it was a perfect circle with the dead grass rectangle right in the middle. There was also always the sound of crunching gravel, like someone walking up the path. It happened so often I quit thinking about it, but now that I've moved out for years, it really is weird. You'd hear gravel crunching in a footstep-type cadence, and then the porch swing would creak like the wind was blowing it back and forth. It was metal and set on a metal stand, so a very distinctive rusty metal groaning kind of noise. Sometimes it would go for over an hour, then it would just stop. Never anyone out there, but the swing was always swaying, even though it was under a covered porch near the house and protected from the wind. There was a mirror in my bedroom that my teenage boyfriend, now husband, hated. He made me cover it up with a blanket whenever he came over. It faced my bed, and I'd always slept so uneasily in that room. One night, I was asleep and I uncovered it. I saw the quickest flash of a woman in a wedding gown looking right through the mirror. The angle I saw her at made it so that she would have either been floating or hanging. I pissed my parents off by taking it off the wall. I was not messing with that ever again. When my now husband saw the mirror down, he said, quote, "Did you see the lady?" Writing this now, I feel a little ill. One last story, almost funny. It was just my now husband and I, teenagers, upstairs and doing things we shouldn't have. We heard a feminine voice, I assume my mom, yell, "Not a deer. Rosie wants out." Rosie was our dog. We dressed so fast in the, "oh shit, my mom is going to kill you" way of teenagers doing shit they shouldn't be. I book it downstairs. My boyfriend stays upstairs. I assume, trying to think of how to get out of this. Nobody was home. No cars, nothing turned on. My dog, cowering under the table, wouldn't come out. I call my mom, and I can hear the sounds of her work going in the background. Needless to say, we did not go outside. Which I guess leads me to one last story that I forgot until now that I just kind of put together. Our house was surrounded by a little grove of pine trees on all sides. My mom was absolutely stringent about shutting the windows at night. No blinds open. Floodlight on if you're going to walk the dog. One day, she jokingly, but not, said something about having seen something hopping through the trees once, and that was that. It scared her so badly that she never opened the blinds at night again. I don't know what the hell it was that she saw. I never asked her to elaborate.
Ooh.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Did you see the lady?
They 100% saw the same thing.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
When two people see the same thing and they don't share, and it's truly like, I saw it, what did you see? And you compare notes. That's when I know I'm like, that's real.
I agree.
It's 100% real.
There's so many times where, it's like one person experiences something, they convince themselves, I'm crazy, I didn't really see that. And then finally they'll confess to their roommates, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, we've been seeing that too. We didn't think it was anything, but yeah.
Okay, we all need to talk to each other a little bit more with the paranormal stuff. Okay, guys?
What's interesting, there was one story I covered last Halloween where there was a group of guys in a frat house, I want to say in Ohio. They all felt like something was off about the basement, but none of them ever said anything to each other.
Oh no, guys.
And I think some of them were like seeing this guy outside of the house that didn't look like he belonged there. It was weird. And then one of them kept having to go down into the basement, and he was like, something's wrong, but I think I'm just scaring myself. There was fully a person living in the basement. And because it was like basically a fraternity house. So many people were in and out that no one ever really noticed it. But there was in the basement this locked room, basically off to the side. It was like a utility closet. And someone had been living in that utility closet for a while. And it was someone who was a little bit older than college age, because one of the guys admitted that they had seen him walking up the stairs, but like thought it was just one of their friends once. But it for sure was just this guy who was living in the basement.
What the hell? That whole concept of like someone being able to live in your walls or like in a closet you don't know about or in your attic really, really freaks me out. Like anytime I hear something that's like bigger than a raccoon up on the roof, I've sent Justin up into the crawl space, the attic before, to like be like, can you make sure like nothing's up there?
There's no one up there, because it happens more. I even had a listener write in that was like a story just like that.
No.
That she had been dog sitting for someone and she kept coming home and the furniture would be moved just a little bit. Same thing. She starts convincing herself she's crazy. Then she noticed that the wash would always be in the wrong, like sometimes the dryer had moved back to the wash and the wash had moved back to the dryer. And she was like, someone is swapping out the laundry. She calls the police twice. Both times they tell her she's crazy. She ends up calling the cops one final time when she comes home, and the furniture has like for sure been moved. Like the table, coffee table was in front of the door. Everything, couch was blocking the entryway to the bedroom hallway.
What the hell?
The police come back, they go upstairs, and they find that they had missed that there was a guy in her attic. Essentially, there was a little drop-down area where he was kind of sneaking back into.
Oh my God.
And yeah, he was a fugitive on the run who had been just taken up. He had this was also in Kentucky, funny enough.
What is up
What
with
is
Kentucky?
going on in Kentucky? If you're a listener from Kentucky, are you okay?
Are you guys
What's
good
going
over
on?
there?
He was called like the Mole Man or something. Like he had a nickname that they had all given him. And he even mentioned while they were dragging him out too, and he referenced a conversation he heard the girl having with a friend, because she called a friend being like, I think I'm crazy, but there might be someone in the house. And he referenced that conversation like, yeah, I heard you have that conversation. You were right the whole time. And then they hauled him off into the cop car.
No.
I hate it.
This is why home security stuff is so important.
I know.
But then you got to make sure your ceiling mole man doesn't know the code.
Well, but then you read a story like BTK where he worked for the company that installed all of the home security units, and then I know there's always something.
It's like no matter, and here's the thing with like the whole thing is like no matter how safe like we can try to be, sometimes like it doesn't matter. Like it's just like people are gonna
truly
be people and be crazy and be scary.
Is so incredibly rare for there to be another human being living in your house. Normally that is not what is happening.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
But every now and then it is.
Well, that's a great transition into this one because this person, something's going on in their house. This is coming from r/paranormal. It's titled Freaking Out Right Now. What is this? I'm the only one home. I went outside to feed our chickens and looked up and saw this in the bathroom window. I took a picture and zoomed in, looked back up, and nothing was there.
Oof.
So this is the first picture this person shares, okay?
Okay, it's just a normal house. 3 windows on the top, 2 on the bottom.
And then when you zoom in on one of the windows, you see that face?
Oh my gosh. It looks like the nun
it literally,
from the movie.
That's literally what I thought.
It's someone with a powder white face, and you can see the indents of the eyes, these black indents. It looks like a woman, like maybe she has really dark, stringy hair too.
Yeah, dark hair.
Ooh.
Someone's in your house, and then they post another picture. Like, sure enough, nothing in the window.
Gone.
So
I wouldn't go back in the house. I mean, speaking of someone living inside of your house.
Who's in there?
No.
Yeah. Nope, I'd be burning it down. Cleansing it.
Cleansing it for sure.
Cleansing it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So moving on to our next picture here.
Ooh, the ones with pictures are always the scariest.
It really, really messes me up. This is what I couldn't fall asleep over because then I'm just starting to I'm falling asleep and I'm just envisioning that woman's face like in front of my eyes
window
as I open my eyes to wake up. So this is from r/paranormal again, titled Blood-Colored Footprints Keep Appearing on My Garage Ceiling. I've lived in this apartment for about a year, and every day there are new footprints on the wall that are a weird color. They seem to be the right shoe and no left one, but I swear up and down that they move around just about every other day. I've had my friends come and look, and they agree that they do move around and then disappear. All of these pictures are from the same day, and I will post an update in a couple days to show the change since this is the first time I'm documenting the footprints. So here is one of the pictures.
And these pictures,
it's a shoe print.
Where is this in the garage?
The ceiling.
It's on the ceiling?
The ceiling.
That looks like blood. And it's a boot print.
It is a full boot print. It's blood colored, like fresh blood too, not dried blood.
It's blood. And it's only one shoe. It's only the right shoe. It's not both.
Not both. And I mean, it's very clear. It's the ceiling.
They posted it in paranormal.
r/paranormal.
Because part of me,
have you heard of many?
Hinterkaifeck?
No.
So we're doing this for Halloween. We're doing the story of Hinterkaifeck, which is one of the scariest unsolved mysteries of all time. It happened in Germany in the 1920s. But it's this family. They all live in this farmhouse in rural Germany in the 1920s. And they start noticing things like that. Like dad goes outside one day, opens the door, and there's footprints in the snow coming from the woods towards the door that don't go back out. And he's like, oh, maybe the neighbor came over or whatever.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
but they would have left.
One of his housemaids quits because she thinks the house is haunted because she keeps hearing people walking around upstairs in the attic. She thinks it's a ghost. Other people hear someone in the house. The whole family gets murdered. One by one. It seems like they each one by one got lured into the barn and were killed with a hatchet.
No.
And they think that a person had been living in their house for possibly a month or so. And the family was like, oh, I guess we have ghosts. Kind of like this person where you're like posting in the paranormal subreddit, is this a ghost? And really it's someone with a bloody footprint walking around in your house. I mean, it's on the ceiling, which is kind of weird, but still.
I know. The fact that it's on the ceiling would weird me out even more.
I know.
And it's like, it literally looks like blood. So the top comment tells them to spray them with hydrogen peroxide. If it bubbles, it's blood. Please record the experiment for posterity. posterity.
Whoa, interesting. Okay.
So OP says, I'll make sure to do this and post an update. If you go to OP's account looking for an update, they do have this comment. And they also posted this in r/unexplained, wondering how I could clean or test these weird boot prints for organic material. And they go, sorry for not providing an update. I know how unbelievable it sounds, but I moved out after a friend sprayed it with hydrogen peroxide and it had a very strong bubbly reaction. At the time of this post, I was in Florida for a bit for vacation, so I had a friend do the experiment for me. He never sent me a video, only did it on FaceTime, so I apologize for not being able to provide evidence. After further researching into Morrow, Ohio court documents, there's been multiple murders at or near my apartment, so I decided it wasn't worth living there anymore and moved in with family. I don't have any plans to visit or gather any of my belongings because I'm so freaked out. But when I build up the courage to return, I'll post a video.
Babe, you have to call the police.
I'm not going there without someone.
If there's blood in your vicinity and you don't know whose it is, it could be part of a different crime scene and the police need to know about that. What if someone else got murdered and that this person doesn't know, but a neighbor, something happened to a neighbor and he doesn't know? You have to, I would report that. I would definitely move out. That's great. But I would for sure try to report that.
Well, you know what's weird too? Like, I'm just like, well, how would they get on the ceiling?
That is very strange.
Like, but there's also like this weird, you see this little hook. I'm like, you can't really tell what it is because the picture's kind of dark, but I'm like, there's a little hook there. And then the other ones are by like the garage door opener.
That is so weird.
And it's like, why there? Like, I mean, here's what's crazy with one of those footprints. So if you guys have seen garage doors that like, they retract up onto the ceiling.
Does not make any sense where those footprints are.
No. And so the footprint is like, if there was the garage door opener motor thing, okay, and then there's a track that goes down to your door, there's some of these boot prints that are under the track.
Yeah.
So to even get a boot to fit up under in the track, like it would be very hard to get the bloody boot print up there if you were doing it by just putting the boot on your foot and stamping it around.
And you know what? That is not for the poster to figure out. That is for the forensic scientist that gets sent to that crime scene to figure out. So I would say definitely contact someone. I would just be too paranoid that it could be useful to solve maybe another murder that happened in the area.
I know. And I'm like, could it be sinking through the ceiling? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Someone got hung upside down and then their boot just on the ceiling.
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know how that would have happened.
Gotta call Ghostbusters.
Maybe it is paranormal and some ghosty bloody boots around, but it looks very real and recent.
I mean, ghosts can do physical stuff. I've got this next picture to kind of prove it.
Whew. Okay.
And I've had multiple pictures sent in by listeners on Two Hot Takes and Father Knows episodes of like scratches they got and like all this stuff. But this is coming from r/paranormal. Cleaned a dead woman's house and she didn't want me to leave with her things. And this is the person's arm.
Oh, it looks like they got grabbed.
A full hand grab print and like hard.
Yeah, hard. The fingers look, well, there's only 4. Oh, I guess the thumb is maybe underneath. Yeah, that's scary because it doesn't just look like a handprint. It looks like some of the fingers are crooked or too small.
Arthritis. Old lady had arthritis.
Old lady, but I mean, original poster did say I was trying to leave with her stuff. So what's up with that?
I know.
You know?
The story gives me shivers every time I think about it. A friend of mine invests in foreclosed homes and invites friends and family to come and take whatever you want from a home that he was buying. When I get there, it was cluttered to hell and smelled awful. Food wrappers, expired milk, receipts from years ago. It was filthy. There were about 15 of us, masked and gloved up, scraping whatever we could find. But as we dug deeper into the mess, it became sad. Sentimental items started to appear, new clothes that were in gift boxes, old passports that were stamped many times over, handwritten letters, and many photos from the 60s and 70s. I looked over the photos and felt bad that I was scavenging what was left of this lonely woman's life. From the photos, it seems that she never had kids and she was widowed for a while. I ended up being the last one in the house. The sun just set, so it was quiet and eerie being alone in the musty home. My friend was waiting outside. As I took my basket full of things I had scavenged, I felt it. A cold, tight, tingling tug at my right arm. I nearly dropped what I was holding. It really, really felt like someone tugged me back. My body buckled backward slightly. When I got home, I saw it right where I had felt it, the tug. Clearly a pressed handprint on my arm. This is not a sunburn. It never hurt. Hadn't been in the sun at all for days. The pale pattern of a hand stayed blanched on me for days.
Wow.
I hustled to get rid of the items, and only after everything was sold or donated did the handprint go away. What?
I mean,
no.
Ooh. Well, first of all, it's interesting. The poster was like surprised that there were sentimental things in a foreclosed house. Because what do you think is going to be in there?
I mean,
trash? Like this was a real person who lived there.
Yeah. I feel like most people would think like, I mean, it's clear she might have actually died there.
Yeah.
And that's why it was foreclosed versus like, oh, they lost it to the bank, but they still took their items.
Yeah.
And then she's just kind of
scavenging. It sounds like that's what the friend
left.
does though. He invests in foreclosed homes. So I feel like there's got to be some like weird stuff that he's got going on. So
that's insane.
Very pro ghost in this story, I would say.
Yeah. Give me my stuff.
Give me my stuff back.
What is crazy though, when I first looked at the picture, I did think, oh, sunburnt. And then like to try to explain the hand, like when you're burnt and then you press on your skin to see how burned you are.
Yeah.
And then it like stays white for a second. But the fact that this stayed on her for
days,
quite some time until all of it was gone.
That's scary. Also makes me think of when you are thrifting items and you don't know their history. Some people feel like they take stuff back with them when they thrift an item.
I've never felt that from any of the items I've gotten. And I did just buy a dresser from another famous Hollywood actress. And
really?
Yeah. And like I found some
like
of her
an estate
needle.
sale?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm a big estate sale person.
I love an estate sale.
But I've never felt that from any of the items. And like I found her needle work in some of the dresser like parts in some of the nightstands or wherever it was. And it was like this beautiful sunflower she was working on and just never finished.
Oh.
So I can't throw it away. I can't bring myself to throw it away.
I know.
And so I'm like trying to find someone to give it to so I know they'll finish it versus Goodwill. And now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, did the stuff start in my house when I brought the dresser in?
Oh my gosh, Morgan.
What the hell? Okay.
It could have.
I need to evaluate that a little more. But okay, so capping us off with this last one, titled, "My Uncle Was Murdered. A while later, my aunt took this photo." And so the first photo, it looks like the person was taking a picture of a snowy night.
Yeah.
Looking out their window. And you see someone in the reflection.
Yeah, you can see the room reflected in the glass, and it looks like there's for sure a person sitting behind her.
Mm-hmm.
You can even see the painting on the wall. You can see the couch that the man is on.
Everything.
Yeah.
You see his like, it looks like he's wearing glasses.
Oh yeah, I could tell he's wearing a black t-shirt. He has glasses. He's probably bald, and he maybe has a little bit of facial hair.
Okay. So then we do have a little zoom of it.
Yeah.
You can see it even more.
You can even see his hand. You can see the shirt he's wearing, a black long sleeve.
And then we get a picture of what the uncle looks like. It is literally him.
Oh, that's exactly him.
It's him.
He's even wearing a black shirt in this photo. And he has the facial hair and the glasses. Maybe not bald, but really cropped hair.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's him. It's so crazy.
So that photo, did they say how long after he passed away that the photo was taken?
So I've been hanging on to this for about 6 to 7 years and would love to know what y'all think. In 2017, my uncle was murdered. Now, I can't exactly remember if my aunt sent this photo a few weeks or a few months later. I can really go digging and find out if that's what's holding you back from believing me. It had been snowing outside. My aunt was home alone and decided to send us a picture of the snow. Within a couple of hours, my mom is blowing up the group chat, telling us to zoom in, asking us what we see.
Wow.
I go back to the picture, and sure enough, it looks like my uncle had been sitting on the couch in the reflection. Needless to say, my aunt was spooked. She insists she was home alone and didn't notice the reflection before sending the picture. My aunt is a no bullshit kind of person, and even if she had done a complete 180 in personality out of grief or something, she doesn't know how to edit or Photoshop. What made me finally decide to post this on Reddit? A couple of months ago, I asked my aunt to resend me the picture so I could show a friend. I never actually saved the original. It had been saved in the group chat files. I saved the picture to my phone and notice it's a live photo. I'm thinking, here we go. I can play the video and I will see my uncle completely still. Since in all reality, it was probably something on the couch that happened to make a reflection that looked like him. But no, he fucking moves his head to look at the camera. I know this is Reddit and a huge trust me, bro, but feel free to analyze and dissect the pictures. I'm confident they haven't been messed with other than the zoomed in pic of his reflection, but that was just me cropping the picture. I don't know how to post live photos on Reddit, so if someone tells me how, I can post it for you to watch. Let me know what you think.
Did they ever post the live photo?
I had not looked, and now I'm like,
I know.
I'm scared to watch it myself. I get that it's kind of tricky
because you have to save it, but
yeah, you can save a live photo as a video.
You can, yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh, I'm scared to watch it. Does it post? Okay, so at the time they had posted, because this is a year old now, they had posted an image gallery, and then they posted like the data time link to live photo video, but it doesn't take you anywhere anymore. I'll send OP a message. Maybe we can see it.
See if you can send it. Oh my gosh, that is very eerie.
I know.
But also beautiful.
I know. Like, he's still there with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Paranormal stuff, y'all. I cannot wait to see your personal stories.
Yes.
Put it in the comments on Instagram, YouTube, wherever. I'm also putting together another theme. So if you want to share your story, fill out the Google form and I'll see if I can get to it this spooky season. We did an episode for your show.
Yes, we did more listener stories, some very spooky paranormal stories that happened to our listeners. And so that's available. That's going to be available the last week of October on the Heart Starts Pounding feed.
And what else are you working on this month for your spooky season?
October is going to be the theme is monsters, but we're doing kind of like the real life equivalent of certain monsters. So I'm doing like the Vampire of Dusseldorf. It's the time that Dusseldorf, Germany thought that a vampire descended on their town because a lot of bodies started showing up and all of them had bite marks on the neck and some of them were drained of blood.
What is this where Dracula kind of started?
It was the 1920s that this was happening. This is like after Nosferatu came out. So this is post Dracula, post everything. And
oh my God,
was it a serial killer? Was there really a vampire in the town? We get into it in the episode. And then we talk about the Hinterkaifeck story, but kind of under the Hinterkaifeck story is our boogeyman. So we're getting into like boogeyman lore and then telling you the story of Hinterkaifeck. And so we do that with siren lore and we do that with werewolf lore as well. I'm going to tell you the real life equivalent.
Buckle up.
I'm very excited. I'm really proud of the programming. It's going to be really scary.
It's going to be such a good month for you.
It's going to be really fun. Yeah.
Kaelyn's first episode will be out at the time of this, but keep your eyes peeled for when ours comes. I'll be sure to share it everywhere.
Yes.
It's going to be a good month over on Heart Starts Pounding.
I know it's kind of always spooky season there, but we really like to go hard for actual spooky season.
It's going to be a good month. But thank you guys so much for being here. We'll have a bonus spooky episode on Patreon as well as the last one coming the week of Halloween. Thanks to our special guests, Annabelle and Gordy.
Thank you guys. You were so well behaved.
I know, like really good today.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. But Annabelle will be sleeping here tonight. So
yeah, in the car.
In the car. Say bye, Annabelle.
Bye, Annabelle.
Bye, guys.
Bye.